Stories Podcast Network welcomes you to our channel. Real people, real consequences, and the system that binds them. Stories from inside and beyond the walls. Subscribe now.
Now tuned into LWAP Radio with Reentry Rob. And today we got a special guest, man. And why he's a special guest? He has his boots on. This man is out there in the streets. He has a podcast. He's going to explain that to you. But he is trying to speak for individuals who do not have a voice. I would like to go ahead and have you introduce yourself. Tell me exactly what your name is, the name of your podcast, and also why do you do what you do?
All right. My name is Mark Rokita Jr. The name of my podcast is Conversations of Conviction. And I served 12 years on a 10 to 20 year sentence for drug trafficking. And the reason why I started the podcast was because while I was incarcerated, I started focusing on law. And when you're in the law library, you start reading case laws and you start meeting individuals who are fighting their case. And that's where I started realizing that there's a lot of stories that people aren't aware of.
Absolutely.
And wrongful convictions. And not everyone was innocent, but for me, example, I wasn't innocent. My claim wasn't to innocence. It was a miscarriage of justice, though. I was supposed to get triple RI, and the judge refused. And when I got out,
how many times you served?
At 12.
So for people that don't understand what triple RI is, we're talking about a program that is maybe a year, maybe two at the most, and not everybody gets in it. But if you do get in it, you serve that much time. How does a year to 2 years turn into 12 years because you didn't get that opportunity?
Well, my situation is a little unique. A triple RI in Pennsylvania it's a good time. So it would have been, I think, 3 months off of a year. Mm-hmm. So you can still get a 10-year sentence and have triple RI, but it would shave off 3 years or 3 months off of every year. Correct. It's incentive, basically, which is actually a good thing because it would have changed my character, it would have inspired me to, change my mentality a little sooner, probably. And my sentence, the reason why I did 12 was because actually the prison staff retaliated on me. I made parole in 2022, but they retaliated on me because of my lawsuit that I had for the MAT. That the court ruled in favor of me in 2022. And it was the medical staff that wrote me a misconduct. And they took my release date for October. And actually the sheet said, we're rescinding your, your release date of October 25th, 2022. And your new release date is April 25th, 2033.
Wow.
They gave me a 10.5-year hit. And
wait a minute. I studied law as well. I've never heard anybody get a 10.5 years. Maybe 5 years ago, I think it was, maybe 6, where most parole hits are 6 months, 9 months. You might get a year. You might even see 2. They got it up now. If you have a violent offense, they can give you up to a 5-year hit. How did that turned into a 10-year hit? Did you constantly get hits?
No, it was one hit. It's one page.
I work for, this is crazy. I work for parole. Like, I'm Reentry Rob. That's who I am. So it's kind of blowing my mind that I've heard somebody, you just tell me that you got 10 years before you went back and see them. So let's fast forward. So you got back in front of them. Now you're a different man. Because that's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. And now throughout that time, and I think that's what people don't understand. You're in prison. You have 10 more years to serve. Psychologically, you still have to live. You still have to push forward. What changed in that 10 years for you? Because you had to sit 10 more years.
Well, I mean, actually, when I first got that page, I was suicidal. And my friend my cellie at the time, Montana. He's the one he came in because he knew I was depressed. I mean, why wouldn't I be? And he's the one who sort of like stopped me, and he told me to, to fight, because at the time I was doing a lot of legal work for other people, and he said, like, you fight for them, just fight for yourself. And that's why I filed a habeas corpus.
I think your fight, and you just made a good point that somebody said, listen, you're not only fighting for yourself, you're fighting for others, and you're doing that now. We're doing that now. True Crime platform is doing that now. LWAP is doing that now. Your platform is doing that now. Is that what triggered you to be the man you are today? Being wronged by the system? And the reason that me and Suave called you down here today is not only the work that you're putting in, but the fact that we need to get together as a whole to continue. The ones that have their boots on the ground, it's important for us to get together and continue to use our resources collectively to bring people home. This is what it's about. Freedom's not free. So you now go on front of parole. You're now released. You're home. You got things you got to do for yourself. And that's what people don't understand. We get these phone calls every day. We're sitting down here at CCP, and both our phones, me and Suave phones, are ringing up constantly because people just want relief. So now you come home, you're getting yourself together, reentry-wise. You need housing, you need employment, you need clothing, you need transportation. How did you still find it in your heart to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to devote a certain amount of my time to podcasting, to getting the voices heard from the inside to the outside?
Well, first, I didn't even know what a podcast was until last January. Being in prison, they didn't really teach you of the new trends or the new technologies. And from just listening to what other people were talking about, I thought it was TikTok. I thought that would have been my avenue for getting the word out. Let me reiterate that I didn't learn about podcasting until last January. While I was in prison, I had thought of the platform to use would have been something like TikTok, because that's what I heard other people talking about. And the other one, I think it's Snapfish or Snapchat. And I mean, obviously those aren't the platforms that I thought they were going to be. When I learned of podcasting in January, I did it from watching YouTube and seeing that other people were sharing their stories. And when I got out, I didn't have any money. It was basically de minimis, but my family was a big support. And they said they wanted to support what I wanted to do. So they helped me get the computer and stuff set up. And I mean, obviously I already had the connections because I still spoke to a lot of my friends in prison on the phone and visits. That's what sort of like kept me sort of grounded too, because when I got out of prison, I was, I don't know if you guys even went through it. It was anxiety and PTSD that I wasn't even aware existed. You know, I heard of that stuff, but I didn't even think I had it until I got back to my hometown, and then I became really reclusive and antisocial.
I want to address that. I want you to finish that, but I want to address, there's 2 points I want to address. The fact that when they watch your podcast, when they watch this podcast, they look at the backgrounds, they look at the microphones, they look at all the production, everything that goes behind it, the cutting and pasting. This doesn't just happen overnight, and it just doesn't happen because people are giving us money. And this is not why I'm saying that, no, but why I'm saying is that we're pushing through, despite whatever the obstacles are, to get the stories heard. And that's why I think it's important that they understand that we're in prison. You had no idea what was actually going on social media wise. And when we say social media, it's not just about taking pictures of your food that particular day or when you go on trips. Social media can be a business. And this is what the DOC is not teaching us. DOC is not teaching us that social media as a whole and the platforms as a whole can be stepping stones and bridges to get so much done. Now I want to go back to the point that you said where anxiety's coming home from prison. I have to be truthful. I had no anxieties when I came home. I don't like people walking behind me because that's something I've seen a lot of things happen in prison. I've even witnessed homicides in prison through stabbings. I don't like people walking behind me, but I don't want to say it's an anxiety. What you were going through is totally something different where you didn't even know how to basically deal with the public because you were just coming home.
Right.
So how was that? Now you're in you're in your house. How long did that happen? Like how long were you staying away before you finally was like, because are you still in that state of mind? Can you explain that?
I'm
Because you're down here at CCP today, so we want to thank you. You know what I'm saying?
I pushed myself, to be honest, but I am a little better. It was because I learned actually a few months ago what the causation was. My family sort of cajoled me into seeing a psychologist because obviously I wasn't myself. I mean, who has suicidal thoughts after being released? You know, it just didn't make sense. It didn't even make sense to me. So I did start seeing a psychologist, and the eureka moment was when I told her, because I used to go on visits with my friends in prison, and afterwards I would get upset and depressed. I would go for a drive or a walk, and I bought a bike during the summer, and I told
motorcycle or pedal bike?
Pedal bike.
Yeah, it matters.
Yeah, all right.
Because that's your stress. You actually getting some physical. You know,
I wanted to get in touch with the air, nature, and while I was riding my bike, I told the psychologist, I said I was riding my bike at 2:00 in the morning through Pottstown, and she says, "Oh, you must have been scared." And I knew what she meant. She was referring to like nefarious characters, like criminals, because it's 2 a.m. And I said that to her, but I said, it's not, there was a moment where I was scared, but it wasn't that. That's why I actually went home. It was when a police cruiser passed me and we made eye contact. And I mean, the thoughts that went through my mind were that they're going to turn around and come back up the next street and just roll on me and pull their guns out and ask me, what are you doing out this late? And they're going to run my name. They're going to see I'm on parole, and then I'm going to go back to jail. And I zigzagged back all the way back home because I'm thinking that these cops are going to come back. They're going to come back around. And I mean, they didn't. And I was doing nothing wrong. But
I want to say something to that. I have to say something to that. People right now listening, people are watching, and they're like, what is he talking about? It's a cop. They're there to protect you, No. You're looking at somebody that 28 and a half years in prison for stuff that they purposely withheld. In my case, I am not the only individual. I'm just super blessed to be here today. So I know what you're talking about. How literally things can go haywire even though you're not doing anything and you fear being put in prison. Ultimately, again, that is some serious stuff, man, where the people that are supposed to protect my community, my family as a whole, I'm scared of them. Yeah. People don't understand that. So now what happened after that? Did you said you seeked help, but a lot of our work we do ourselves. So what have you been doing to work on yourself, to go ahead and keep, kind of like come out of that shell? Do you believe you will ever come out of that shell?
I talked to people who went through similar situations. My close friends are Bashir, who he got out right before me, and then he went back before I got out. And his was a similar situation. The police actually approached to talk to him, and he reacted. He thought, they were going to be aggressive.
You know his last name?
Blakely.
Okay, you know where he's currently housed?
Yeah, he's at Phoenix.
Okay, well, listen, you know his number right off the top?
No.
Okay, well, Blakely, SCI Phoenix, another case that needs to be looked at. Tap in, y'all.
I'm filing a PCRA for him this month. The only claim that you can raise really in his situation, because he pled guilty, is the fact that he was suffering from PTSD, but I don't know how the court is going to react to that, because who's going to even understand that?
Yeah, the state of mind is super important to the courts, but if he doesn't, and I'm with him, God bless him. But if you know, if they kind of, if you weren't active in the army, if you weren't actually in actual military, that's a hard pill to that's a hard pill to swallow. So I want to talk about this podcast, man, or I want to talk about who you are today, man, as a man as well, right? Um, Why do you do what you do? We called you down, me and Swab called you down here today because we thought it was important. A lot of people don't see this. You have a platform. I have a platform. Swab is giving me, giving us all an opportunity to be like, do what I do. Why was it important that you think that we come together?
The people that are in prison are people, and not just like not every police officer is good. Not every person in a uniform is a good person. Not every person in prison is a bad person. And some of them deserve a second chance. Actually, I'm gonna say a lot of them do. Like people like the felony murderer I heard you speaking of earlier. There's people like Matt Garcia. He's a felony murderer too. He was with somebody, and it wasn't even them that committed the murder. It was the other party that committed the murder, and they got life without parole. So it's any person that's killed while you're in the middle of a felony. Everybody gets, so it's those type of people, and I've gotten real close to their families too. The guy Glasses, his mom, I talk to his mom like every week. And
Glasses or Comer Glass?
Glasses. His name is Stephen Poaches.
Because we know Comer Glass too.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah, that name sounds familiar too.
Yeah.
Stephen Poaches, his case was actually pretty big back in the day. And I got close to him in the law library, and then his mom, and she lives nearby actually, and she's always asking to stop by for, she makes smoothies. And I mean, there's still, that family dynamic. People should be given a second chance. I just feel that that's important, and that's why I started what I did.
You can't be watching or listening and not understand that you've been given a chance. If you're watching and you're listening, you've been given a chance in your life. We all have been given a chance in our life. And this is all we do. This is why we do what we do. To go ahead and make sure that people that have made a mistake in their life, that have transformed their life. We don't get on here talking. We don't bring people on our shows that said that as soon as I get out, I am going to go murder somebody or I'm going to go commit another crime. We're not supporting that. We got families in the city too. We want to make sure our communities are safe as well.
Right.
But it's the fact that I told brothers, I look people in the face, I cried before I went out, man. I told them brothers, man, on the inside, and for them sisters that's in Muncie and Cambridge Springs, over down the counties, we fighting for y'all too. But I made a pact, man, that if I got out, I was gonna do what I do. I was gonna do whatever I can, even if I don't have the money. I'll sit in front of a microphone with no money. I don't get paid for this. I get paid by what you just said. Where the family dynamic, where you meet up with somebody's mother, where I speak to somebody on the phone and I hear a mother crying saying nobody ever has helped us the way you're doing.
Right.
This is why I do what I do. This is why you do what you do. This is why Suave does what he does. That's why many organizations, I'm shouting out all organizations. It's not a bash. I'm supporting all organizations on the criminal justice reform front. But for the ones that have platforms, for the ones that have the financial means, for the ones that have the resources, come together, man.
Yes.
Put some money behind something if you have it. Hit the streets. There's events all the time in the city that support people on the inside. People go to Harrisburg every single day. You see the stuff we put on social media every day. Like, comment, subscribe. That's not just for us. That's for the people that we represent. It's for the people that we talk about. I want to ask you this. We want to thank you, man, for coming down, but I got a few more questions for you. I want to ask you, where do you see your platform going? And what success are you cool with? And the reason I say that, we all have certain levels of success, and you have to be grateful for that. You know what I mean? Where do you see yourself and the podcast going, or what do you want to achieve through your podcast ultimately in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Um, I mean, honestly, I thought about quitting every day, but I've, talking to these families and these
Why?
people because
Why though?
it's a struggle, man, financially and
Right.
emotionally, mentally, and often I feel like more often than not, I feel like I'm alone in this battle. I've talked to people in several of these organizations, and they do what they can, but I still feel like some could do more. The ACLU, they could pick up more cases.
Innocent Project. They only get about, I
The
think,
NSC,
3 to 5 a year.
I've talked to several of them too.
Lack of funding, though. I'm not. Shout out to John Moore. He works for Innocent Project. Yeah, that's my brother, but they don't have the funding.
They we're leaving people behind, basically, is what I'm saying. And as far as like fame goes, I hate putting myself on camera. I hate the sound of my voice, but I do it because I feel like I have to. Somebody has to. Uh, I could have been on the show Love After Lockup. I got my friend on because
Okay,
I do not want to
that's
be
right.
on camera. I
That would have been a nice show.
yeah, I mean, when I was a teenager, I was very outgoing and the class clown, but I guess prison changed me, and I'd rather get a 9 to 5 and start a family, but I'm not going to do that until a change is made, and that's my ultimate goal. It's not money. I want to see a change, and whatever it takes is I'm willing to do.
That's beautiful because when Suave said that you reached out, man, and we sat in here, we was actually talking, about you and what you're doing. We are checking out your shows. We've seen a lot of brothers that you have on there that we know. We love what you're doing, man. But we thought it was super important that to reach back to you, that invite you on the show. This was just yesterday. How many people reach out to somebody and don't even get a return email or don't get a return response? You come out the very next day, you're down here, and it's because you're passionate about what you do. We're passionate about what we do, and that's why we do what we do. So I want to thank you, man, for everything that you're doing. I know the families. I know the people that are directly impacted by the criminal justice system, the people who are in the inside, man. I know they thank you, man. You don't have an easy story. You're suffering right now. You're going through a lot. This is not easy. Winding down to the end of our show. We want to thank you, first of all, for coming on the show. We spoke to you yesterday. You're down here today. I want you to tell the listeners again who you are. I want you to tell the listeners the name of your platform and your podcast and any type of personal information, Gmail, stuff like that.
All right. The name of my podcast is Conversations of Conviction, and you can find it on any platform that plays podcasts and even watch the videos on YouTube.
Any major platform, y'all.
And my name is Marco Rokita, but that's irrelevant to the stories that I'm telling. The guys who I'm interviewing they're the names that should be remembered.
Do you have Gmail? Do you have iCloud?
Yeah, if you wanted to email me, you can reach me at atticorinc@gmail.com, which is my last name spelled backwards, and then INC@gmail.
If you listening, if you tuned in today, thank you. If you know people who haven't tuned in, you let them know to tune in. I want to thank you, man. I think it's important. This episode was super important because you have a platform. We have a platform, me and Suave. True Crime has a platform. Fet Life Station. El Whopper, you tap into us, man. You're here, man. We're tapping into each other. We're supporting each other so we can support those on the inside, the men and women on the inside. So once again, man, I want to thank you. LWAP listeners, LWAP viewers, thanks for tuning in. Check us out on all major platforms. Stay safe out there. Freedom ain't free.